Test, test, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. I hear myself.
I'm gonna get your chair. Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, that's loud. Okay, I'm going to call this meeting to order. It's 9 o'clock. Our Board of Trustees workshop meeting for September 23rd. Going to do the invocation. Please stand. All men, please remove your hats. Our Father in heaven, we give you all praise and thanksgiving. We come together today in the hope of the betterment of our Holiday Park community. We ask for your blessings on all our residents and those visiting our park. We thank you for all those present at our meeting and all those who are streaming. We thank you for our trustees, our district manager, and all the park staff, and ask you to bless them for the work that they do here in the park. We ask that the Holy Spirit guide our discussions this morning and our interactions this day as we all try to do what is best for our residents. We ask for your help and guidance so that all present are patient, understanding, and respectful to one another as we remember that we are a community of neighbors and friends. We thank you for bringing us back our friends who are away this summer, and continue to pray for those who will be traveling south over these next couple months. We ask all this in the name of your beloved Son, Jesus, our Lord and Savior. Amen. The Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we'll have our roll call now.
Good morning.
Are you new?
Stop it. Okay, chairperson?
Present.
Okay. First vice chair, Bob Bachman.
Present.
Second vice chair, Rick Haggard.
Present.
Treasurer Don Lemaster.
Present.
Secretary Deb Burns, present. Assistant Secretary Jackie Mitchell.
Present.
Trustee Tim Celo.
Present.
Trustee Joni Anderson.
Present.
Trustee George Clinch, excused. District Manager Vicki Lawrence.
Present.
Sergeant at Arms Rick Weber.
Okay, I want to welcome our new district manager, Vicki. This is her first meeting, so be nice. And
Please.
and I'm going to open it up for her report. Thank you.
Good morning, Holiday Park and residents. Thank you to the trustees and residents for congratulating me on my new role as your district manager. I am quite honored and happy to serve Holiday Park. My door is open, so please let me know how I can make Holiday Park the best it can be. Thank you to my team and all their support during this transition. I hope everyone has had a fabulous summer. We are now nearing the fall season, and our snowbird residents will be on their way back home to Holiday Park very soon, and we welcome you all back. Please remember to check in at the office and let us know if any of your contact information has changed so we can update your records. Just a reminder, we are still, sorry to say this, but we are still in the peak hurricane season. So please check around your home for any potential flying objects and secure them, especially when we are notified that a storm is incoming. And hopefully, that's not going to happen, right? We pray that. I will begin my park rounds this month to inspect homes for weeds, mold, overgrowth, cleanup, and follow up on any outstanding property violations. If you have any concerns or complaints about a resident's home or an area of the park that needs attention, please come into the office and complete a corrective action form. We are currently working on the front entrance signs to include the language 55+ deed restricted community. That sign was, was damaged and had to be removed. So, but we would also like to give a big thank you to Heidi for using her artistic talents for the improvement of our front entrance signs and the phenomenal artwork, if you haven't seen it already, the phenomenal artwork that she has done at the Phase 1 pool is absolutely beautiful, and we thank her for all of her hard work. An update on our digital display sign. I know that you've seen that it's been down. It's now operational. There was a part that was replaced, and And in the result of that replacement, it was an upgraded park. So we are working with the sign vendor to troubleshoot the issue that we're having with the letters and how they're showing on the digital sign. So we're currently working on that. Few updates that I would like to give at this time on insurance renewals. We've received our Florida Blue health insurance renewal from our agent, which is Wampler Varner Insurance Group. I'm pleased to report that our premium increased by only 5.94%, where we budgeted for a 10% increase. Additionally, we have 3 of our office staff employees that do not either need health insurance or they don't qualify due to their part-time status, which does result in an additional savings on our premium. We will renew the existing plan without any changes. The chairman and I will complete, sign, and return the renewal back to our agent, Wampler. We have also received our workers' compensation policy renewal for the upcoming fiscal year 2025-26 with a policy total of $7,940.47, which is under our budgeted amount of $10,000. Our FY fiscal year 25-26 package policy renewal, which includes our property, general liability, and auto insurance, increased by a total of 2.7%, where we budgeted for approximately 5% increase. There have been no changes to our coverage, so the chairman and I will complete, sign, and return the renewal back to Aegis Insurance Groups, and these premiums will not be due until 10/31/25. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vicki. Okay, the chairperson's report. I welcome back the board after our summer break. We now begin our normal meeting schedule for the fall of 2025 through the spring of 2026 season. The board also welcomes all residents and visitors attending our meeting this morning and all those who are streaming. Please keep all resident comments to 3 minutes or less, and please refrain from any side comments or discussions as they are distracting to others. I have a few items. It has been a busy summer here in Holiday Park. If you have been away for a while and are now returning, you should note many positive updates to our park. I want to publicly thank Carmela again for all the good things that she did for our park. No one is perfect, none of us. But I firmly believe that Carmela loved this park and did the best she could while executing her job as district manager. I want to welcome Vicki Lawrence to her first board meeting as our new district manager. Thank you, Vicki, for taking on this important position within our park. I can tell you from firsthand knowledge that Vicki has hit the ground running as our district manager. The board is also starting the new season running as we have a full agenda today. I want to give a huge thank you to Heidi Brady for the beautiful mural painted on the walls of the Phase 1 pool. If you have not seen it, please take a look. She spent countless hours and did a wonderful job because of her love for our park. As well as what Vicki mentioned, she did our signs as you come into the park. She painted those, and she did a wonderful job on that. I also want to thank all the ladies and men who worked to make our summer holiday dinners a great success. Heidi and her crew for the 4th of July dinner, and Leon and Bernie and their crew for the Labor Day dinner. And I want to thank Nancy Celo for the summer movie nights, which were also a huge success. I also want to thank Sharon and Mark Ruguth for the Art in the Park rock finding challenges, which are always a big success and keep many residents entertained over the summer months. And for all other residents that have helped make the summer here in Holiday Park special. I believe that Holiday Park is a great place to live. Is it perfect? No. We will only experience perfection when we get to heaven. But we have a lot of great residents in our park that keep the H-Park functions and all the other activities alive, and we should be happy to be residents of this park. This leads me to a more somber reality. There has been more angry speech, slander, and gossip flying around on Facebook, and I find that it just makes me sad. I have not had Facebook account for many years now because I detest seeing the negative remarks and hatred that people are willing to put into print on social media. But even so, I have heard a few comments from friends who still subscribe to Facebook, and I want to address a few things here in this meeting. I, as the chairperson of this board, have no power other than to add responsibilities of working other than the added responsibility of working with the district manager to put together meeting agendas to cover the business of this park. I also am the facilitator of the board meetings, which may be perceived by some as one making decisions, but the board makes decisions as a whole, that is, as 9 trustees. We trustees don't get paid for this job. Believe me when I say we don't want the responsibilities of the district manager. I am just like every other trustee, and I speak my mind on topics, just like every other trustee who has the opportunity and responsibility to speak theirs. No individual trustee has any power outside of these meetings. Only a quorum of at least 5 trustees can vote on any business concerning our park. The real power to affect most decisions for the day-to-day business of this park has been given to the district manager. I want to be clear that part of these responsibilities includes all hire fire responsibility for the park staff. The trustees, as individuals or as a board, have no direct involvement in these matters unless the district manager decides to include the trustee who has the personnel job responsibility. And that only is based upon the nature of the issue. Or the district manager may bring an issue to the trustee chairperson to be addressed with our park attorney. Otherwise, the district manager may bring the issue to the board of trustees, or the district manager makes the decision on their own. Here's a final thought of mine, and then we will get on to our new business. Instead of complaining about the park on social media, why don't we all put that same energy into figuring out ways to make the park better? And use social media to praise the good things that are going on in order to lift up our residents instead of tearing down the park and our residents by all the complaints. Just something for us all to think about. Thank you. Okay, I'm moving on to trustee reports. Any trustee reports?
Yes.
Okay, Don?
Yes, I want to, since we didn't have a regular meeting in August, I want to read the August treasurer's report. The pavilion fund, as of to date, $107,335. We did pay for our, the engineering fees, sorry about that. We paid for engineering fees out of that money. That's all we've paid for so far. Trees for Tuscola, we added several new trees along Tuscola. I think they look wonderful, but we still have a balance of $604. I want to measure, and hopefully maybe the next couple meetings I can have, what we're going to need to finish up the trees for Tuscola. Our August income, $1,668.47. Our August expenses, $93,056.91. Our restricted reserve account, $398,775.33. Our project account, $182,939. Our certificate of deposit, we have, as of before the 20th, $371,298.88, and I just spoke with the bank, and we're going to renew the CD for another 6 months since we're not ready. This is all road money to have the money available. We don't need it right now, so we might as well renew it because we earn around $10,000 every 6 months on this amount of money. Our restricted interest, $22,483.03. Operating account, $694,237. Bank balances as of 9/16, $637,474.47. Our project account, $182,939. Thank you.
I just want to remind everyone that the reason we have so much in our projects account, because this is going to be renewed starting October for our new budget year, is because we have several projects outstanding out there that have not been completed, that we approved before the summer, and they're still being worked on. So we have held back the money to pay for those projects until they're done. Thank you.
That's a good segue, Sean. Summit did not get the work done that I wanted. Hopefully they would have got done before all the rain came. So they're supposed to be back early November to finish up that project. another thing, unfortunately, Nancy Selo would like to have some more time off, so we're looking for a new communications committee person to help with the streaming and for the meetings, so that's all I have.
Thank you. Anyone else? Sure.
Okay, same thing as Rick had said, only we're dealing with stewards on the pickleball and tennis courts. And they just don't like to show up. I guess that's a common thing here for contractors. We met last Tuesday, I believe,
That's correct.
and went over what we need done for a final completion so they can get the rest of their payment, which we're holding until that's done. And he was supposed to go home that night, put together the email that we agreed upon to send to the district manager, and to this point, we have heard nothing. And technically, they're supposed to, well, his word, which I won't say anything about that, they should be out there working on it right now, because they were supposed to show up today. So that's as far as we've gotten so far with that. Now, shuffleboard, we have no idea when they're gonna start and complete it, but we haven't forgotten about it. Thank you.
And the last we had asked them is that they have it completed by October 15th, but at this point, we have no idea if that's going to happen.
Do we still owe them money?
Oh, yes. Yes,
We are not going to do any more money-wise
correct,
until it's corrected, right?
correct. Any other trustees have reports?
Yeah, I'd like to report on the pavilion. I'm sad to see that there's no donations coming in. We did have a meeting the other day to finalize more stuff of what we're going to do in the kitchen area, the storage area, as far as lighting and electrical. We've spent some time with the city, the county, and the state. And our next step is getting an electrician in here and getting everything going for upgrading the electrical to include the boutique.
Thank you, Bob. We're going to speak more about that as we go through our project list. If that's all, I'm opening it up for resident comments. Any resident comments this morning? Being none, we have no old business. This is our first workshop of the new year, the new season, I should say. So we're going to move right on to our new business. The first item here is our staff paid time off, Friday, December 26th. Now, this is something that Carmela had sent me an email on over the summer, and I have talked to Vicki about it, and she's going to speak to it. Thank you.
Okay. So for this year, for the holiday Christmas season, our office is closed a half a day on Wednesday, Christmas Eve, 12/24/25, and all day on Thursday, Christmas Day, 12/25/25, and those are paid time off for the employees that qualify for that. But this year, a little different, is that we would be, or the employees would be returning to work this year on a Friday, the day after Christmas. So since this only happens, once every 7 years, I'm requesting that the trustees consider closing the office as a paid holiday for this year only. We're not changing any type of, policy manual or anything, or policy or anything like that, so.
Okay, so this will be coming, back to our October regular business meeting to reflect on and vote on. Next item of business is general rules and regulations. You have the document before you, and I'm just going to walk through it for you. This is concerning some changes that Carmela and I had talked about previous to her leaving, and also just some general updates that I thought needed to happen. Actually, I'm getting two documents confused. The general rules, this is all stuff that we had talked about with Carmela. First item here is We have guest individuals 14 years or older who are visiting the park, a park resident. We want to change that to guests are any individual, regardless of age, who are visiting a resident. All visiting guests must be registered within the district office for safety reasons. An example of that would be if there is severe weather or some other catastrophic event, the park office and Northport authorities need to know who is within our park. The next item is number 4. We have badges are required for all park activities, facilities, and activities, but I want to say add to be worn. So badges are required to be worn for use of all park facilities and activities. Guest ID badges must be present but need not be worn within the pool areas. And this is something that Carmella has enforced throughout the summer and the winter months while people are at the pool areas. You must have your ID present. You don't necessarily have to be wearing it in the pool. But if you're a guy, a lot of guys like myself like to wear it on our hat. But women, you just need to have it there in your bag, wherever you're sitting. It needs to be present. So if someone comes in asking for IDs because they don't recognize you, you can tell them you're a visitor and show it. Number 5, guests who are 18 years or older must sign a release of liability form. This is new. We have release of liability for our gym, but we're going to be talking about it tonight for all activities. From the district office before they can access any of the district activities. Before it was just the gym. Under renters, I just want to, we're taking out the last line there, or part of it. All name badges for renters must be turned in upon checkout. The part where you may be getting part of your processing fee returned, that's never, I was told by Carmella, the office has never done that, so we're taking that out. On page 3, under P, we just have an update for our fire pits. I'm just reading, starting with the highlighted area, not the highlight, but the bolded area. If homeowners wish to have a movable fire pit on their property, they must follow the Northport City guidelines, as well as the Northport Fire Department protocols currently in effect. Residents must check to see if local fire restrictions are in effect before lighting the fire. No permanent fire pits are allowed on residential property. And I think that's it for this document. So any questions or changes from our trustees? Being none, we will be bringing this back for a vote at our October regular meeting. Next item is our top 3 projects for our budget year. Now this document has been updated. It's before you. We're going to walk through it line by line because this is our first meeting of the year, and we need to get this. We need to understand where we're going for this new season. Excuse me, and our new budget year. So for item 1, we're looking at this is our short-term project list, 6 months to a year. And we have our sports court resurfacing. We've talked about those already. We just have an update here for everyone, and we're still working through that. That will fall off this list once it's completed. Item number 2, again, this was the work that we already okayed, and it was being done over the summer. It's not completed. Once it's completed, it will be removed from this list. So now we have items 1, 2, 3. These are what, some of these have been added in my discussions with Vicki, and they don't necessarily have to be here, but they were added here because they were top items that need to be addressed. The board needs to decide whether they stay here or whether they be handled under our operating budget. First item here is our gate entry and access system. The front gate and rear gates, we have 3 estimates that are received. This is something that Vicki has been working on over the last few weeks, and I'm gonna let her speak to it.
Okay, so this started out as a project that we were having some issues with our software, which is called Door King. It's our software that we use for our residents and guests to have entry into the park. That we've been having some connectivity issues for some time now. So, and in addition to, as many of you know, our rear gate getting stuck open and having to go out and manually reset that or close it. So that's where we started from. And after we received estimates, a site visit from gate vendors and an estimate for the cost of just doing that one fix, if you will, it was decided that we should look at other areas of the gate system that we should consider, presenting to the board.
Can I interject?
Can you hear?
Yeah, I just want to also state that in our discussions, the estimate for just making this Band-Aid fix that we were talking about was going to be over $20,000. And at that point, we said, no, we need to go farther and do something better. So go ahead.
Thank you, Sean. So with that effort, we identified with myself and the maintenance supervisor, we identified areas that we were having issues with, that either we needed new replacement new motors or new software, everywhere that we see, or that we could see at that time that we should be considering for upgrades. So with those estimates, and I do need some more time to review them because this is an important project and we want to get it right because this is, it hasn't been upgraded in some time and we want to make sure that whatever software we select and updates that we make to the mechanical parts of our gate system are a good experience for all the residents and their guests. So I'd like to take some more time and come back to the board at the next workshop. But as of right now, we are in the $45,000 range of what has been presented to us through the estimates that we received from gate vendors.
And Door King's not supported any longer?
Door King is still supported. They're just trying to retrofit new technology into their current system, but the Door King that we have is running over a landline modem to modem, and it's just antiquated and it's worn out. So that's where we are.
Are we looking to move the rear gate in further?
That hasn't been proposed or
We're going
recommended.
to end up going to a bar gate system. We're going to need more room out there.
Okay, you're talking about the actual swing gates that are in.
Correct, everything would have to be moved in, so we have more space. Right now, you got room for a car, maybe a car and a half.
Okay, I understand that, and we'll address that with the gate vendors to make sure that's included in proposal.
Well,
Or
that's,
needed.
I guess if the board's in consensus with it, then, but that's
No,
fine.
that's a good idea, and all those things are being considered. I mean, there's a lot being considered that Vicky hasn't specified. We're talking about possibly having the security updated within our buildings as part of this, right? Is that part of it or not?
Yes, it is.
Yes. And so that's something that the board has talked about in the past, and so that's going to be possibly part of this. We're talking about swing arms as well as the gate system that we currently have to make it more robust and so that people aren't running into the gate. If you run into a swing arm, it's a lot easier and a lot cheaper to replace than running into the gate itself. So we're looking at that, that's a possibility. The system, the software is upgraded, is newer, it can be used even with a phone, it can be used, with fobs. So there's just a lot being done or discussed. We're also talking about if there's any updates that are gonna affect the, like moving the gate or the, blacktop in those areas, that we have that blacktop redone while we do the upgrade, so that in the future when we do our roads, we don't have to touch those areas again. So there's a lot of things, future things being discussed to try to put something together that will last for 20, 30 years that we're not gonna have to revisit within a few years. So,
Correct. Even things like, your license plate reader. So we're looking at a full upgrade to our system and present that to the board to see where areas we really want to improve at.
so with that, I think that this is big enough, but we need to, I need to get consensus here. Do we leave this as one of our projects for this year on our list here? I mean, we have the project money for things just like this, and we've been talking about this for many years. I've been here for 3, and I've heard it for 3 years. So, all right. The next item here is cameras for compound, laundry, parking lots. This one I'm also going to let Vicki speak to.
So we have our current IT company, which is Cyber. They are now have all of our cameras that are currently functioning, our rear gate, front gate, any cameras that we currently have installed is now being managed over our network. So our IT company can now see if we have a camera down, they can notify us or work with us to make sure that those cameras always stay on. And in that effort, it was also brought to our attention that the Phase 2 area, such as the Phase 2 building, the parking lot, and the pool areas, have no type of security cameras at all. So, and also the Phase 2 pool, I know that with the music that we have there has requested to be upgraded as well to more of a streaming, more up-to-date, like we have in the Phase 1 building. So I received a quote from our IT company for cameras to upgrade any network type equipment to accommodate that, and also a speaker upgrade. So the overall, and everyone should have the quote in front of them. And so overall, this includes 9 security cameras that will be located in the Phase 1 or facing out to the Phase 1 parking lots, the front and the side of the building, and Phase 2 parking lots, for your side, the front area, and then also the other side that faces towards the pool. But then there will be other cameras at the pool facing pool area as well as back to that parking lot between the pool and the Phase 2 building. There will also be an antenna that will be installed. That will be like in the Phase 2 building area. So these antennas will actually directionally point from the Phase 1 building to both of our gates. If you'll notice, you'll see these satellite type dish, and then also we'll have one installed at the Phase 2 building, and those are all clear sight, and it runs off of our internet, so we don't have to add service. We're just using our internet capability that we have here in this building, okay? So that's what that antenna will be for. We will also have to upgrade or add a 48-port managed switch and an NVR. And with the outdoor speakers, they are proposing the Sonos speakers with an amp. And then that way we'll be able to stream music such as Pandora or whatever subscription anyone chooses at that time. The labor, the manual part of the labor to complete this work will be done by the Holiday Park maintenance staff. So, that's an added cost savings that a lot of IT companies wouldn't let us be a part of, but they are. And then they will have, cybersecurity will have 15 hours approximately of labor just to configure that whole system for a total cost of right at $9,400. Let me make sure right at $9,400. I am recommending, because in our Phase 2 building budget, we have a remaining of just under $18,000 left in our current operating budget. So I'm proposing that, we consider using that operational expense and maybe moving it out of our project list, for
Okay.
future projects.
Thank you, Vicki. So the board, what we need you to do is, you have time now to review this, and it will be coming back to our regular meeting. so you can have time to review what is being proposed and bring back any questions you have. We'll discuss it again at that meeting. In the meantime, I think that since we have, I would like a consensus right now on removing this from our project list and doing it as part of our operating budget to close out this current budget.
Sean, this did come up in the insurance review, the cameras, additional cameras.
Okay, forward. As a point of need, right? Yes. So if I have a consensus, we'll take it off, I'll take it off this, well, the office will take it off this project list, and we'll bring this back at our next meeting to discuss it further. Okay?
Under the operating.
Under the operating budget, yep. Okay, moving on to number 3 here. Landscaping, Tuscola Fountains Landscaping, and Phase 2 Pool Commercial Grade Furniture. This again is something for Vicki to discuss with us. She added this as something that's needed, and I agreed that we should discuss it.
Okay, so, we've just completed some of the beautification and the landscaping in Phase 1 through through the main road coming in to the building. So, and with landscaping as well. And we were also able to do some beautification at our front entrance signs and that whole front entrance area. So now I'm proposing going into the new year that we put on our project list to include the Phase 2 landscaping and beginning to beautify our Phase 2 area, to include our pool landscaping as well. I'd like to do something very similar to what we've done here in Phase 1, which is, the rock type landscaping as well as any types of, bushes, flowers, that we just clean up, and put everything new into our landscaping for Phase 2. And in addition to our Phase 2 pool furniture, to upgrade that furniture, to replace it, and with pool, with our commercial type furniture. I haven't completed all of the estimates on that yet, but I know by our experience with the Phase 1 landscaping, and I want to back up for one moment. There is an area that we would like to include in this, which would be where our fountains are. That is on Tuscola. So there's some areas in there that we still need to landscape, and rocks, and whatever choices we move forward with that. So I would like to include a part of that in finishing out the Phase 1 landscaping, if you will. But with the pool commercial grade furniture, I have, by what we've counted, that we would need to replace as far as the pool furniture. I'm estimating about $35,000. That is not a firm number. And then on the landscaping, we would do that in-house, and that would be in a $12,000 to $15,000 project for the Phase 2 landscaping.
Okay, so do we leave this on here as one of our projects for this season? Everyone, I think it makes good sense. If you look at the fountain areas, you see that we really do need to do something about our white rocks in that area, as well as the mulch, and try to do something that's more permanent than mulch around the trees. So I think it makes great sense to include this as a project and get everything done at the same time. So we'll be talking more about that in the future as we have estimates come in, but for now, we'll leave it on here. All right, and then we also have the replacing of our remaining 18 catch basins and culverts in Phase 1 and Phase 2 on the roads over the next few years. So still looking for Rick to work with Summit on coming up with some type of multi-year plan for this, and I'm sure he'll be working on it this season.
Yeah, they're supposed to be here Thursday.
Okay, and when we're looking at that, I don't know what kind of, I think it would be good for the board to give some type of estimate on how much we would expect to go into this area from year to year, so that Rick has an idea of how much he can spend out of our project budget going forward for the next few years to get this done. Does anyone have any comments on that?
Yes, I think we need to do as many as possible because we have to get all these culverts done before we can do the roads. So I think
Okay, but our road project is still like 5 years out.
I know, but we may have to do some earlier. Some of it, all this didn't get done in the last, none of the parking lots. Several, Tuscola did not get done. Holiday Park Boulevard did not get done the first time. So I'm just saying, I think we need to let him have as much as possible.
Okay, that's an opinion. What does everyone else think? I mean, I agree. We want to get them done as fast as possible. I think there's some other things here. Why don't we continue to walk through on our medium? Because I think some of our medium.
Can I ask a question, please?
Sure.
Rick, do you have any idea how many culverts or catch basins need to be done at this point?
No, I do not. That's why we're going to meet with Summit Thursday. I mean, there's culverts all over the park in phase one.
Yeah.
You know, there's some drains at the end of the one up here by the entrance. I think that's Ocean. So there's culverts there that need replaced that are just barely hitting the edge of the roads. I mean, I think we need to get them taken care of. Everything that goes under the roads, obviously, need to be replaced before we touch the roads at all. So there's more than just these catch basins in phase two is my point.
Okay, so the number of 18, that means nothing really, because there's a lot more than that. All right.
I have a question to Vicky or whoever. When Carmela was still here, I met with the city over here on Holiday Park Boulevard of another sinkhole. Has anything been sent back to us about it?
I haven't seen anything sent back, but our main contact at City of Northport, they were supposed to send a crew out here to basically do what they did on Polina, which is, send a camera down, see if it.
They did that already.
Okay, I haven't seen that report of the
Okay.
result of that, so
Just
I
curious,
will
'cause
follow up.
It looks like it's sinking a little bit more.
Okay, I will follow up with the city and get the results of that, and what the plan is.
Where was that at again?
Just before Berry Court
Okay.
on the right-hand side.
All right. The guy that was working on those suggested we have the city come in and scope all of them. Make sure we don't have to replace them.
Yeah, I'm sure the city's happy about that, but yes, that needs to be done.
Well, and the gentleman I talked to even thought that the city might do this one.
Okay.
And as we add all these new culverts, our water runoff for our swells are not, quote, true swales. They do not have an outlet out of the park currently, so they just absorb naturally, which is creating numerous problems with our swell clean out, water flow. So as we replace these, long-term, we're going to have to look at our swell system because now that we have increased water flow, which is nice because our roads now are nice and dry, I just want you to know that that increases the challenges because like this summer, our swells, basically, we have to wait for them to evaporate and go down. And people are like, no, I want it cleaned. And it's physically impossible. So just as we increase water flow into our swell system, understand that we really do not have any current outlets out of the park. So anything that flows into our swell has to stay.
And the sad part about that is we're along Polina, the backside of Polina, the canal on the other side of that street, the water is higher there than it is in our park. So there's no place for the water
Right,
to go.
and on Chancellor, the ones that are in the back on phase one,
Yeah,
the new paving that they did, they have their culverts draining into Holiday Park to keep Chancellor dry. So it's, everybody's saying, well, it's too high. It's an inlet. They're putting water into Holiday Park, not taking water out. So I just want people to be aware that our top complaint this summer was the swales, and understand our swales are naturally draining at this point. There is no external flow out of the park. So
It might
Just
be a
something-
major project down the road, but personally, I feel that we need to regrade all that. The concrete that's at the bottom of them swales is useless. It just fills up with muck,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to do that job.
just understand that Lawn Care is trying, but we went through and Vicki and I met with them, and we currently have no outflow out of the park. We have 2 new inflows into the park, but no outflows.
Okay. Thank you. So that's a future, we need to make sure that's on our long-term list when we get to that. So if we look at our medium term, the first item here is something that we've talked about, and Bob mentioned it too. It's the increase the electrical power to our Phase 2 common area. That is something that has to be done in order for the pavilion to be put in. It affects the lighting for the future lighting of the pool, Phase 2 pool, the boutique. So there's a lot that has to be done there. We had FPL out, and they said we need to hire an electrician. What we really need is for each of the areas we need to understand how much power, through working through an electrician, what kind of power we need to those areas. So how much power the new pavilion's going to require, what the power we're requiring at each of the buildings over there for the pool lighting, all that. And that's a project that needs to be done. And I think that is one that should be moved to our project list for this year. If the board is agreeable to that, it will be moved over as one of our projects. And this is one of the reasons why, as much as I want to say, let's have Summit do all of our culverts as quickly as possible, we have to have some idea of how much money we can actually devote to that, because we have other things that also need to be done. This is one of them.
Okay.
So I would like to move that. If I have an agreement, we'll move that over.
Okay.
The next item here is the Phase 2 AC replacement. I'm going to let Vicki speak to that. However, I don't know if that's something that we needed to keep within, I guess, with Don. She's talked with Don, hopefully, and I don't know if we need to keep that as a project or if that's going to be done with our operating budget.
For the Phase 2 AC, it has gone out in the last year and a half or so. We've had to replace I guess that would be the capacitors, and we've been able to replace those in-house by just buying the parts and the maintenance staff installing them. Before the decision was made about the cameras and moving forward with the cameras for potentially as using it on our operating budget, I had discussed with our maintenance staff about the need to actually replace the Phase 2 AC. There was an estimate that was provided back in May of 2025, at that time when it wasn't working, and that estimate provided to us was $16,000. I have not, and that is for 2 of the AC units. They're about 14 years old. So it's certainly, but after, certainly need of replacing, but after speaking with our maintenance supervisor, with Tanner, he thought with the new capacitor that they just replaced, that would manage through at least the next year, and where we could maybe address it in the fiscal year on our operating budget. So that's where we are on it is currently working, and they seem to believe that the capacitor that they replaced is going to suffice for us, but it is a fix.
Okay.
Okay, so maybe we leave this on the medium term for now.
Yes.
And try to address it in our operating budget for this next year at some point towards the end of the year, before summer.
Yes.
Okay, the next item is we'll be moving that over to the completed, that's the ADA bathroom, the painting and the wall pictures that's been completed. Next one is sidewalks, that's ongoing. We should probably leave it here. Phase 1 pool, commercial furniture replacement, that should be left on here at this time. and then the other two are being handled through donations. So if you look at the last page, the long term, we have some items there that state completed. Vicky's gonna give me the dates that those were completed so that we can move these to the last page, which is our completed list. Is there anything on this list here, though, that speaks to you that needs to be moved either to medium or we need to discuss it? Do you want me to review these line item, or do you just want to speak to it? If you have something.
The only question I have is where are we at with the dead trees that we still have marked to come down?
The 4 pine trees.
I think there's more than 4.
I know right now we identified 4, pickleball court, compound, phase 2 compound has 2 trees. We have a tree that has termites behind, that's in common area behind a home off of Polina. And then we also have the tree that is at the pickleball courts. So those are the ones that I have identified. They will be out on Wednesday, tomorrow, to take those trees down. So if there's any others, if you'll please let me know that you know of.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
sir.
all the ones that were previously done through the contract that we had approved back in May were completed. So these are actually new ones. So as you know, our residents know, our trees keep dying.
Yes.
And this is something we're gonna continue to deal with. Okay, so if there's nothing else, you can look at this. Of course, we review this once a month, and we can always update things. So we'll have an update for you at our regular meeting to review and approve, and then we'll go forward from there. Thank you. The next item on our list is play at your own risk signs at activity sites. So this is something that our insurance said that we should have, and Vicki has gone out and she's put in your packet example of what we could put there's a couple things we do. These next 2 items, both 4 and 5, NB 4 and 5, are both to reduce our risk of liability here within the park. And so the first one here is putting up signs. So I'm opening this up for any discussion that you have.
I think if the insurance company feels we need to do something, we need to do it.
It was part of our risk report that when they came on site that they provided back to us was to put, and they do have some feedback specifically to the sign that you have in your packet, but they did highly recommend that we put in signs at each of our activity facilities, more detailed signs for our fitness center and pickleball, tennis court, shuffleboards.
That state rules? Is that
Yeah, they more specifically outline the rules similar to how we have for our pool, right? So we have our pool sign that is 1, 2, 3 with all of the detailed rules to follow for that activity location. And they did recommend that we probably should not include private property as we are inviting guests, visitors into some of these particular activities.
Well, I don't know. I don't think why if we still keep the private property. I mean, it really is. I mean, we're a deed restricted community, so it is private in some respects. But what would you replace if we don't say private property? What would you put there? Just say reserved for our resident. I mean, I guess if we're not going to use it like it is here in our packet, we have to have something to review that tells us what it would be. So maybe when we bring this back, either we push this off until our November workshop, or we have something that states the 2 things that you just mentioned. We should have something that says what sign is going to be there, that states reserved for our residents and guests, and also what are the rules that we're going to list on each of these sites? Because right now we don't have a list of rules. We don't have anything identified. So whether the office coordinates with the people that are in charge of the pickleball and the shuffleboard and the tennis areas and comes up with some type of minimum rules that should be observed while you're there, that we could then review as a board and say, yeah, this sounds like a good idea. So we have some work to do, that's all I'm saying. I think there's some work to do. I'm going to leave this up to Vicki and the office to decide when to bring this back, this piece here, because obviously we have some more discussion on this.
Yes.
I'm in the assumption that I don't have a problem with the sign the way it is for what you said. I mean, we are a deed restricted community. It's private property.
And we can certainly move forward with these signs should you decide to do that as a board, and then include the more detailed signs for, that show the rules. And then in those rules is still a play at your own risk. So we could.
So how would you like to proceed? Would you like to bring this back for vote as we have it here? And then at a future meeting, we'll discuss the details of the actual rules that will also be posted.
I'd like to see us bring it back, but I also would like to know how are you going to implement this risk waiver policy?
Yeah, we're going to speak to that here in a moment.
Oh, okay,
That's the
sorry.
next item.
Sorry.
Thank you. But good question. All right, so we'll be bringing this back. If I hear everyone, I see
Bring it
shakes
back,
of
get the
heads, so.
workshop or something.
So we're going to bring this piece back as is and post these signs at those sites if it's approved at the regular meeting. Next item is what we'll talk about, this waiver. Okay, let's look at the waiver first. You've had a chance to review it. I will say that if you look at the second page, you were given two waivers, basically. The first one is the new one we want to implement, and the second one is the one we had for our gym. The second one would go away if we implement the first one. So you've had a chance to review it. I will say that we had our insurance company review it, and they agreed that it looked good. We had our attorney review it, and they liked it. And so we're ready to go. If you're ready to bring this back to the meeting at our October regular meeting, we can decide to implement this. Any questions about what we have here?
Just follow up on Jackie's.
Oh, yes.
It doesn't say how to
Yes,
implement.
the way this is going to be implemented will be through the office, but the plan so far, and we can discuss this if you have any ideas, but the plan so far is that it would be something that any new resident or new visitor would have to sign when they check into the office, okay? Any current resident that is playing in these areas would have to sign one, so it'd be something for all residents who participate in our activities would have to sign. And it would happen like for the places where we could follow up to make sure people are signing. First of all, it would go out and say, everyone, please come and sign one of these if you're gonna be in activities. So it's gonna be, come at your leisure to sign this if you're gonna continue to play in the activities. But other ways to make sure it's being signed, if you're going to be like in the Olympics Council, when they sign people up, will have these. And if you haven't, and they'll have a list of everyone who's already signed one. If you haven't signed one and you want to be in the Olympics, you got to sign one. If you want to play pickleball, or if we have other parks come in and play pickleball, we will have these out at the pickleball tournaments, and all those people have to sign them. Or the people that, if you see people coming in from other parks at the tennis, those people will have to sign. So anyone who's going to use our facilities for activities would have to sign one of these. And it would be up to the coordinators of those activities to make sure those are being signed at the time that people are signing up. So there is some idea of how we implement this.
Yeah, I don't know about all the activities, but I know pickleball, tennis, I don't know about bocce. They all have committees that can have these on hand, and when we have our meetings, they can be distributed also.
Yeah.
So,
So it will take a little bit, but I mean, this is a one-time signature. Once you sign this, it goes into it'll be an HOA and for that resident, and it will be recorded. So you don't have to come back and do this over and over again. It's a one-time deal.
I have a question. If someone plays bocce and also plays pickleball, are they going to have to sign 2 different
Nope,
waivers?
this is one waiver. It includes.
Covers all.
Yeah, it covers everything.
Okay,
Yep, and
thank you.
if you read this, it covers all the
Yeah, I
activities.
saw that, but I wasn't sure if that's how it's going to work.
What about something like ceramic?
Yes, because you could burn yourself, you could still hurt yourself, anything, any activity. This form says any activity within our park, so. Everything. That's why as a resident, you sign it once, it takes care of everything.
okay.
Any other questions from our residents?
Mike?
Come up to, or use a mic, we can bring you one, or come up to the mic, because we want to make sure. No, the people at home can't hear you.
I have a question as far
Rob,
as,
you need to just state your name
Oh.
and your address.
Rob Polonis, 5300 Polina. I played in the tennis tournaments and all that through all the parks. Nobody does this. I don't know how you're going to get people coming in here to sign it when we don't have to do it at other parks.
Well, if they want to continue to use our facilities and they're going to have to. Otherwise, they don't get to play.
So that would take us out of all tournaments.
Yeah, but this is not something, if you read this, they have a chance to read this. This really doesn't, all it says is, I'm not going to sue you, basically, if I hurt myself while I'm playing on your court.
Okay, what if you trip on something that has something to do with the court? Isn't that the park's problem?
Well, we've just resurfaced all of our courts, number one, but you basically,
I mean, I understand to use at your own risk, but there's also liabilities of the park. There should be.
well, we have liability insurance in our park, but what we're trying to do is reduce our liability, and this helps reduce the liability of using the facilities.
Oh. Sad things.
Nancy Celo, 6893 Amoco Court. I had someone text me a question. So if you've got a visitor coming in that's coming over the weekend, is this something that they can like download the form, fill it out, and then like email it to the office ahead of time because they're coming in over the weekend?
I think we have a Dropbox somewhere where the forms are available, like at the pickleball court, and we have a Dropbox where if they sign it, put it in, they can play.
They'll also be located in the main lobby that they could complete or sign and date and put in our Dropbox.
And we could also have it on our website, and you could download it from there and fill it out and fax it in or
I mean,
whatever.
maybe there could be something on the bottom of the form where they could email it to a particular address at the office or something.
I'm open to that, that's fine.
Okay, so more discussion maybe on this going forward on implementation. And as we try to implement it, we may find what works, what doesn't work. But again, this is something that we've been advised to do. We've done it for many years using our gym, and it just makes sense. The reason this came up is because we had an incident. You know, you don't think about this stuff until you start having incidents. And when you have an incident and people are filing claims and wanting money, you know, from our insurance, you know, that reflects on our costs. And so you start thinking, well, what else can we do to maybe help ourselves, reduce our liability? Does this make sure there's not be zero liability? No, because you never know, or depending on what it is or what, or the claim that's filed, but, or the lawyer they have, I don't know. But this helps reduce it, because at least we're covering our tracks for as much as we can do ourselves. I hate to say this, but times have changed. This isn't the park we used to have back in the 70s. Things are changing. People are more apt to sue you over things that, like for instance, what Rob just said. I tripped and fell and hurt my knee. Most of us would say, in this room, would say, that was my mistake, my fault, and I'm gonna let my knee heal, or I'm gonna go to the doctor, or whatever I need to do, but I'm not gonna sue somebody for it. But today, that's not the case. People are sue happy. Not everyone, but there are many people out there, so we have to try to cover ourselves.
And the other thing is if you go to the Aquatic Center or Morgan Center in town, they all make you sign a release when you pay the fee to go in and use their facilities. So I don't think people are going to see it as a huge burden to put their name, if they really want to play in a tennis tournament here and they only have to sign it once for a season. I don't think that that's going to be a big issue.
All right, we're going to move on. I guess that's a good point, too. If you're a visitor and you're coming into our park, it might be a seasonal thing, but if you're a resident, it's a one-time thing. We're going to move on to number 6, cleanup of, and this will come back for vote at our next meeting. Number 7, number 6, cleanup of tall palm trees in the common grounds. Vicki is going to speak to this.
Okay, so we have our tall palm trees, which we are not able to do in-house because of the mere size of them.
I want to preclude that, I'm sorry. If you notice, anyone who's been here in the summer, if you've gone to any of the cul-de-sacs in our park, you notice all those palm trees have been cleaned up. They look great. And that was done as a project. We talked about it and voted on it in May, and it was approved, and that was done. And now we need to look at all the other areas of our park, because these trees have not been trimmed or cleaned up in many years, and that again is part of a liability. They look terrible, but when we have a storm with high winds, all that debris from those trees is going to blow around. So we need to keep them trimmed to look nice, to make our park look nice, but also for safety reasons. Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you. So we went out and just reviewed and surveyed those palms that would need to be trimmed in phase 1 and phase 2 in the common areas. We have 70 palms in phase 1 that were identified, and 177 palms in phase 2 for a total of 247 palms. This pricing that I'm going to provide is to trim the palm fronds and also shape the boot around, at the base of the palm fronds, if you will. That total at $40, and this is an estimate from what we paid prior with this particular contractor, but we'll get more estimates. But that total is $9,880 at $40 a tree if we were to do all of the 247. And he is going to provide a price breakdown if we only wanted to do 50 at a time or 100, and how we would phase that out and what type of pricing we would get to be able to, or where we could stay at that $40 a tree at least.
So today, we just wanted to bring this up because we didn't have the quotes to present to the board. We can either bring the quotes themselves to our regular meeting and vote on it then, or if you would rather have a workshop to discuss it first, that's up to you. Just let me know what you want to do.
Also, our new budget, we do have money to remove trees. Which starts October 1st. I don't have my budget with me.
So we have the money. We would verify that we have the money in that budget to cover this also. at our meeting. If you want this to come, the quotes to come, we can bring them at the next regular meeting and vote on it then.
I think we need to move on with this and
Yes.
Okay, we'll bring it to the next meeting. Thank
Okay.
you. Okay, the next item is the cleanup of palm trees on empty lots. Now, this is for, we have a number of empty lots, especially from people that, the LLC that removed all their, all the homes that were destroyed in Ian, and then other people who have removed homes that were destroyed by storms. Those lots, some of them have trees on them. Some don't, and they're fine, but some have trees on them. And they have palm trees that have not been cleaned up, or bushes and things like that. What we're talking about here is, what are we gonna do as a park to clean those areas up? And I'm gonna let Vicki talk to this.
Okay, so we have approximately, not all of these lots have been identified with, the number of trees or if they have any trees on them at all, and we will be making that survey as we're going around. But we have approximately 98 empty lots, and what we're proposing is that any of those lots that have trees that need to be trimmed, is that we contact the owners and, to notify them and give them an opportunity to trim the trees, find out what plan they have. But then also, we, as a park, we can actually do that work for them. So we can have our staff, okay, our employees, do the work for them, charge them, okay, and we're proposing $75 a tree to trim those trees. And if for some reason we do not get their approval up front, we also have in our deed restrictions that for certain types of cleanup work, which includes overgrowth, tree trimming, that we can trim those and then send them the bill. And if they don't pay the bill, we can put that on the estoppel if the home was ever to be sold.
So for the board, the thing to reflect on is, going forward, we don't have it probably set aside for this new year, this new budget, but going forward in future budgets, do we set some money aside to handle something like this for people who we have to go clean up for this or any other deed restriction violation, clean up their property, and they don't pay the bill, so we need an estoppel, and that means we will get paid when they sell that property, but we won't get paid right away, so we have to have a place to pull from, a budget amount to pull from to handle that work, so that we know we're gonna get paid, we just aren't, and we have to have some place to pull that money from. So that's something for the budget committee and Don to look at for future budgets. But for this year, if we approve this work being done, and I need to know from the board, how do you want to handle this? So that's something to think about also. Do we approve it and allow the estoppel process to go forward, and we just eat that cost right now, and then we have to figure out where we're pulling that from on our current budget, so that we need Don's help with that. Or do we say, we're only the people that pay, will do theirs, and we're not gonna do the ones that aren't paying for this year? I need you to think about that, because that's a decision we need to make as a board on how we're gonna handle this. So, questions?
Question, excuse me. After we go through the process of contacting the owner and no response, whatever, is it ever going to go to the fine committee?
Okay, we're gonna speak to the fine committee on under 10, and I'm gonna answer that question at that point. If you just hold off for just a few, all right? Thank you.
Yep. Thinking ahead all the time.
You are, you're one step ahead of me, always. Okay. Any other questions or concerns? This is something that, until we have something specific and brought in front of us, we don't have to make decisions. But think about this, because this will be coming back to us for more discussion once Vicki has more time to work on a plan and bring that plan to us. All right. Next item is our park goals and objectives. This is something that we started last year. It's a directive of the state of Florida that all park special districts have to do. And so the initial form was created last year, given to us by our attorney, and we modified it and sent it back, and they said, yes, this is good, and that's what we have here. And now this is what we do is every year at this meeting, we will review how we did the previous year on our objectives and goals, and I'm going to allow Vicki to walk through this. The board all has this, and it's on your screen probably, so we'll start with page 2.
Okay, so our first goal and objective, it was, number 1 is community communication and engagement, which is our public meetings compliance. And as you can see, the objective was to hold at least 8 Board of Trustee meetings per year. And so as you go into the standard, we did meet the 8 board meetings that were held during the fiscal year 2025. And that can be confirmed by meeting minutes and legal advertisements that were required to publish as well, so that we did achieve that. And in goal 1.2, notice of meeting compliance, the objective is to provide the public notice of each non-emergency meeting at least 7 days in advance, and that the standard, it was also 100% of those non-emergency meetings were advertised within the 7-day notice by statute or by annual notice, and we did achieve that and was confirmed by evidence posting to the district website and published in the district newsletter. In goal 1.3, the website public records, the objective was to ensure that meeting minutes, agendas, and other statutorily required district records are readily available and easily accessible to the public by regularly updating the district website. And the standard was 100% of quarterly website checks were completed by the district management. So first off, just to let you know, our website, our Holiday Park website, is ADA compliant at all times. There are some documents that we have to go through a purposeful review through the ADA software on our website, but Streamline is who it's powered by, and part of that product is to always be ADA compliant by default. But this was also confirmed of the 100% of quarterly website checks by our compliance report and verifying that meeting minutes and other public records were up to date on our website. Page 3, number 2, infrastructure and facilities maintenance. The objective is that maintenance staff would conduct an annual inspection per year of all the district infrastructure, including the park facilities and infrastructure, to ensure area is maintained and operating as designed, and will make periodic reviews throughout the year of any concerns or noted deficiency. The standard is 100% of requested inspections were completed in the fiscal year by the maintenance staff. We did confirm that 100% of the annual inspections for fiscal year of the district infrastructure was completed as evidenced by maintenance staff through their routine maintenance inspections and identifying deficiency and completing work orders by the maintenance staff that ensures the park is maintained and operating as designed. Please also understand that some of our infrastructure, we employ outside contractors, to maintain those or repair those as needed or approved as a project. Goal 2.2 is district visual inspections. The objective is the district manager and/or trustees will conduct regular inspections of the 865 homes and property lots within the park to ensure they are well maintained and follow the park policies and procedure. The measurement was at least a quarter, 25% of all home property lots will have a roadside visual inspection completed by the district manager or designee and documented within this report. 100%, the standard is 100% of the required visual inspections were completed in the fiscal year by the Holiday Parks district manager. This was achieved, yes. The district manager performed 100% of the required visual inspections by completing, what was being done, because we're talking about this fiscal year, what was being done is in phase one, in that first week is when the visual inspection would be completed. That would be reported into our HOA Life residential database, and then whatever was required beyond that visual inspection. And then also, the second week of each month was phase two, and then also anything that was identified through those visual inspections would follow the process that we have set forth in our House Bill of Deed restrictions. And so then at that time, the owners would be notified of any items to be corrected. Goal 2.3, district storm swells and drains maintenance. The objective is that the district manager and the maintenance staff will conduct at least 10 visual inspections per year of the Holiday Park swells and drainage system to ensure everything is maintained and operating as designed. The standard is a minimum of 4 swell cleanout events must be completed in the fiscal year by the Holiday Park's lawn care contractor. And then the Holiday Park maintenance staff, will provide the inspection reports that shows the dates of those 10 visual inspections. This was achieved by meeting, so we met with the lawn care contractors to ensure that these 4 swell cleanout dates were scheduled, and the district manager did confirm the cleanouts were completed. And we do have another one that, the next one won't come up until the October timeframe when things dry out. So that'll be the first one of the new year. But visual inspections were completed as required, and any issues found were reported to the lawn care contractor. Improvements have been put in place by implementing a detailed log and tracking data for the next fiscal year.
So just
And that-
be clear, why is it marked no?
Because we did not have the specific logs in place, the tracking logs in place to give those specific dates of the visual inspections, as well as the dates that the swells were cleaned out. So we wanted to implement that into our process so that we could come back here next year and show that that was achieved and be able to show that that was documented
So to be
properly.
clear, the work was done, but it wasn't
Correct.
documented correctly.
That is
So
correct.
the fix for this is to document it correctly this year.
That is correct. Goal 2.4, district landscaping, lighting, and irrigation. The objective is for the park staff performs the landscaping and conducts at least 6 visual inspections per year of the park's landscaping, lighting, and facilities, just to be sure that the grounds and the buildings are being maintained and operated as they should be. The standard is 100% of the required visual inspections were completed in the fiscal year. This is marked as a no, as not being able to achieve it. It's not that we weren't doing the majority of these inspections. I would say that we know that we have some areas in the park, as we showed as the corrective action, is that the maintenance supervisor has identified and reported 2 locations of FPL, Florida Power and Light street lights, that are not working, and areas where lighting may need to be considered. And that is something that we will need to bring to the board into a future workshop. As we know what that entails with FPL, what costs are associated with those, and some of the streetlights that are out are work orders that have been in since and have confirmed that they're still there. I don't have an update on when these will be addressed or resolved with FPL, but this has been from since Hurricane Ian that we still have some streetlights that are out. So we will continue to get these.
There's still poles missing too. There was a list of those made.
Yeah, so what Vicky's saying here is because we have this as a goal, it will be higher on our priority list to track and to get back with those FPL and the Northport city if they're involved in any way, but to get this addressed this season.
Number 3, financial transparency and accountability. Goal 3.1 is our annual budget preparation. The objective is to prepare and approve the annual proposed budget as set by Section 12 of our House Bill 1855. The standard is 100% of budget approval and adoption were completed by the statutory guideline or deadlines, which is posting to the Holiday Park website and sent to the county at least 60 days prior to the public hearings. That was achieved, and we were able to confirm all the deadline dates and requirements met as shown in meeting minutes, resolutions, Holiday Park website posting, and county documentation. Then we have 3.2, our annual financial audit. The objective is to conduct an annual independent financial audit per statutory requirements and publish the results to the Holiday Park website for public inspection and transmit that audit to the state of Florida. The audit was completed by an independent auditing firm per the statutory requirements, and results were posted to the Holiday Park website and transmitted to the state of Florida, and this was achieved and found to be achieved by that the financial audit was completed. It was presented to the Board of Trustees regular meeting on May the 8th by an independent auditing firm, which is Suppley, Shea, Kramer, and Miller. Audit results were confirmed as shown by the Holiday Park website post and transmitted to the state of Florida, the state of Florida confirms the documentation was submitted timely. Goal 3.3, assessments notification. The objective is notification of annual assessments mailed to the residents and posted to the Holiday Park website after adoption of annual budget. And the standard is assessment values to be accessible on the Holiday Park website within 30 days of adoption of the annual budget. This was achieved. You confirmed the posting to the Holiday Park website was on May the 9th, and the mailing to the residents on May the 21st. Of 2025. Number 4, Board of Trustees annual requirements. Goal 4.1 is 4 hours of annual ethics training for trustees. The objective is that the Board of Trustees take 4 hours of ethics training classes annually. The standard is that all 9 trustees to complete 2 hours of ethics law, 1 hour of sunshine law, and 1 hour of public records law training classes, and that training is reportable on the e-filing of the annual Form 1 in the following fiscal year. This was achieved, and we did complete all of those required trainings on all 9 trustees on April the 29th. Last but not least is Goal 4.2, the Form 1 and Form 1F Statement of Financial Interest. The objective is that each trustee is to complete the annual Form 1 and or Form 1F when leaving office within statutorily required time. This was achieved. It was reviewed and confirmed by our Holiday Park administrator of the Form 1 and Form 1F, which is our trustee chairman, Sean Slattery, and this is he is the administrator of the Florida Ethics of Commissions, and confirmed that this information was timely completed. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Vicki. So this is something we do once a year. Vicki will continue to, this is a living document. It starts over October 1st. She will be in charge of making sure all this happens again this next year, and next September at our workshop, we'll go through this again. And this is the format we'll use. We'll have the actual report, and we'll just walk through it. Thank you. All right, next item on our list. Well, maybe we should take a short break here. I think everyone could use a break. We've been going at it for an hour and a half now. So let's have a break, and then we'll come back. 5 minutes, please, and we'll be back. Very good, thank you.
Doing okay? Thank you. Good information. Oh, yeah. Feedback.
Feedback.
Hi, Barbara Schneider. How are you doing? I'm Vicki.
Okay, we're going to call to order the meeting again here, and we're moving on to number 9, trustee bylaw changes. You have them before you. This is something that I put together, made these changes, and this is the one I meant to say that some of these changes were made because of things that happened over the summer with meetings, and then just to make it more clear to everyone, and then some things as I was going through this were out of place, so I repositioned them so that they made more sense as you're reading this document. And so I'll go through it. The first item on page 1 that's highlighted there, that was actually, used to fall under Article 5, committees and assignments, and it made no sense to me why it should be there, so I moved it to this spot. And that's why it's there. The wording has not changed, it's just the position in the document changed. The next item is on page 3. The beginning of that, again, I moved that under section 1, removed the section 2 heading, the section 3 heading with that, and this is committees and assignments, so the only thing that should sit under there, in my opinion, is the committees and assignments. So that's what's going to be there going forward. If you work on if you have any questions as I'm going through this, speak up, please. Page 4, I have our meetings. What's been added here is trustees must, now this is something that I changed and took out some wording. So if you're opposed to this, then let's discuss it. But the reason, and I'll tell you the reason for it after. Trustees must be in attendance within the meeting in order to vote. However, absent trustees have the option of submitting any questions or concerns for any agenda items being discussed to the district manager, who will present them within the meeting. Absent trustees will still receive the agenda and all board packet information via email 3 to 4 days prior to the meeting. So all trustees will get it. Of course, we have to have a quorum in order to have a meeting, so we're talking we have at least 5 people here. We make every effort to have all trustees here, but the reason I'm taking out the wording at the bottom there, it says, if a valid quorum exists, absent trustees are allowed to call into the board meeting and ask questions. A motion must be made and accepted by the present trustees in order to allow the call-in trustees to make motions or vote. The reason I took that out is because we don't have, well, first of all, we've never done this. I mean, this has been in here forever, and we've never, as far as I know, I've been here for 3 years, we've never had this happen, that we've had someone call in. When you're gone on vacation or something, you're gone. But the issue that I have is the logistics of it. Having it so that the people in here that are present not only hear a voice over a phone, but can actually visually see who is talking. And we may have it in the future where we can do all that, but we don't right now, and logistically, to me, it doesn't make sense for us to state you can do this. I don't think calling in is good enough. I think I want to see who's talking to me, especially if you're voting on something. I mean, this is what the key of this is. We're talking about trustees that are absent that are going to make a vote on something. And so I'm open to discussion for it, but that's my thought on it. And that's the reason I made the change.
I don't know if I totally agree with that situation, because there was a situation a while back that I was involved in that I lost my position because I was told I could not call in.
You lost your position? I don't know what you mean by
I lost
that.
my position of an assignment on this trustee board that I was told I couldn't call in.
Okay, well, I think that's,
So that was changed, and I wasn't even notified about it.
yeah, well, that would never happen under my chairperson.
Well, I understand that, but
I mean, that should never happen. That's not right. That's something that would be, that we wait and bring business to a meeting, knowing that a trustee is gone, just so that we can do something shady. So I think that's incorrect, and that would never happen. Yeah, but, so, but again, if you want to keep this in here, we need to, then my position, I guess, on this is if we're going to keep the verbiage in it that we had and leave it like it was, we need to have the ability to do it. And the ability to do it, in my opinion, needs to be more than just, how do you validate or verify that the voice that's coming over a phone is really the person that you think it is, without being able to visually see them and interact with them visually. And it's not just for the board to be able to do that, but the residents that are present here, or the residents that are online. You know, you need to be able to do that, and we don't have that ability to do that right now.
I understand what you're saying, and if this is the way you want it, I'll go along with it.
Well, I'm open to other people. I mean,
Yeah, I'd hate to see it go, because I think we all know, sitting here, if George was calling in on a vote for something, especially if it was an important vote, we would know his voice. I just hate to see this go away.
okay, there's two. If it's a consensus, we'll change it back.
I think before
Mr.
long, you'll be able to stream into the meetings if we're out, be able to call into the meeting. So I think we'd have to change it back.
Okay,
I know what Bob is talking about. A previous meeting, Bob had called in, but he was not told he could vote, and he also lost because we wanted to nominate him for one of the positions on the board, and we weren't allowed to. So
okay, well, I've heard enough. We're gonna remove, go ahead, Nancy.
Nancy Selo, 6893 Amoco Court. I know Kim Jacobs, who's our IT specialist for communications, has been working on this process and trying to come up with the best outcome for us. She just is not there yet with what's going to work for us. So, I mean, they are trying to get that available to us. Okay?
Okay, thank you, Nancy. All right, so I'm gonna remove the highlighted part under meetings. Let's see if I want to remove all of it, though. Yeah. Well, I'm going to leave in the part that says that absent trustees receive the agenda,
yes,
because that's good, because we want that to happen. But I'll remove everything prior to that, and we'll reinstate what's been crossed off and move forward. So that will be at your when we bring this back for a vote.
John,
Yes.
I have one more question. Have we ever talked to the attorney about this, whether this was legal or not, to call in for a vote?
No. Well, I don't know. I
Maybe
haven't.
we
I
should
haven't.
present that and ask that question to him
I can certainly do that.
to make it legal. I don't know if it's legal or not. I don't know if it was ever done, so maybe we should.
Good question. Very good. We will, Vicki and I will make sure that it gets to our attorney. Okay, to ask that question. Excuse me. The next item is, I just added business after regular, because our regular meetings are our business meetings. And some people get confused on that. So we hold business, and when I say business, that's things that we can vote on. If it's not a regular meeting, we don't vote. So that was added there, and then I just put in the articles below, because you can see where the template is for each of these that are stated. And then I defined what a special regular meeting is, because we've heard the term special meeting in the past. I've heard special regular meeting, and it's never been defined in our bylaws. So this is a definition now. We can refer to it. And basically, a special regular meeting is any regular meeting. It's just like a regular meeting. It's just that it falls outside our normal schedule. So we put together a schedule each May for the next year of all of our regular meetings that we're going to hold. And when something falls outside of that, then it should be called a special regular meeting. And it's different than an emergency meeting, which we'll go through here. But, so that's the reason for it being defined here. And then the agenda for that is also being defined. So that is page, let's go on to the next page. Where did I lose my,
Page 5.
Right there, you want.
well, this is 3, 4,
We just did 4.
2, 3, 4.
Five is right in your pencil.
Oh, it's right here. Thank you. Wow. I thought this was something else. Okay, here we go. Now I'm back on it. Page 5. So under each of our order of business for our regular meeting or workshop, we always said the chairperson shall, but we don't distinguish whether, if the chairperson's not around. So I just added, or the next highest trustee officer in there. Takes care of that. Page 6 is where I define what an emergency meeting is. We had the definition of an emergency meeting before, but we never had the actual agenda specified. So here's the agenda. So basically, it's reduced. We have a call to order. It's an emergency. So we're doing this. We didn't allow. We may not have. You don't necessarily have the 7 days that's been posted. Because it's an emergency. So we have a call to order, we have the invocation, we'll do a roll call, we have just the new business. There should be no old business because it's an emergency meeting.
Right.
And then we won't have the trustee comments and resident comments at the beginning of the meeting, but we will allow them at the end. And then we'll have the adjournment. And then same for the special meeting, it's basically the same, only again, let's see, we have everything that we currently have. We allowed to have a district manager report and the chairperson report to give that flexibility, because if you haven't had one in a while, like if it's the middle of the summer and you have to have a special meeting, the district manager or the chairperson may have something they want to report. And same with the trustee reports. And then you have your resident comments. Again, it's new business because there should be no old business at that point. And we have the comments at the end for the trustee comments, residents, and the adjournment. All right. And then let's see, page 7. Is that where we're at? Yep. Page 7 is just the change to the numbering of the articles, and then this would be adopted on our October 9th meeting. Any questions about that? I have the one change that you've mentioned, and we will talk to the attorney about that also, and bring this back for our October meeting. Okay, moving on. We have our number 10 is our fine committee members. Before we talk about the members themselves, and Vicky's going to speak to us on that, I want to state that we had I think we had 5 people on our fine committee this past year. 3 people resigned, so there's still 2 people on it. You have to have, from our park rules, you have to have at least 3 people on that committee. They can't have an association with the trustees, like be related to them in any way for that committee. And that committee is, even though the people on the committee is approved by the park trustees, the trustees it's a committee that operates separate from the trustees, and that's because we want to make it independent. These people are assigning violations or fines to people who have made violations within the park, and we don't want the influence of the trustees in those decisions. So it has to be made up of residents. Okay, so that being said, I want to distinguish for everyone our culture here. Since I've been here, we seem to think that the only way you're going to get anything done as far as getting a resident to do something to fix something that's broken, or to resolve a violation from our deed restrictions, is to put them through the fine committee. And I want to tell you that's not the case. It's not necessarily true. There's two ways that we can get things cleaned up in this park. One way is working through the office, and they have a direct connection with those residents, and they can call them, and they can work with them directly. And if we can either clean it up, if it's something that it falls into the category where we can have the park clean up, or we can have someone come in and fix, like in the case of pest control, we can have someone come in and deal with pests on a dilapidated home, and we can then charge that bill back to the resident. And if they don't pay it, again, we have the estoppel process, that we will get paid eventually when they sell that property. But we can get it fixed, and we can get it fixed right away without a month-long process of going through, or a couple months possibly, of going through the fine committee process. So that's one way to handle things. And even if we do send something, like it's something that is bigger, like we're saying a carport's missing, and we have to go through a fine committee because it's a carport, and we're not going to build a carport for the person, okay? It's a park. So it has to go through that process. Those items, even though we do that, they don't necessarily have to fix the problem. They may get fined up to $1,000. Everything's capped at $1,000, so they may get, but even that $1,000 is on their estoppel, and they don't pay it until the property's sold, okay? So we are limited, even through the fine committee process, on what we can actually get done in this park. So what we're trying to do here, I've been talking with Vicki about it, and she's on board, is we're going to try to change the culture to try to do 80% of the violation work, maybe even closer to 90% of the violation work through the office to get things done quicker, okay? And leave that 10% to actually go to the fine committee process. The fine committee process costs us money. I don't know if you're aware of this, but every time we have to send certified mail, it costs the park money to do that. And we find that sometimes we still, if we can't get a hold of the right person, and we have to find a family member, there's a lot involved there, a lot of work, a lot of legwork, a lot of time and effort and costs. And so we're trying to take a step back and say, how can we do this more efficiently and get more done, especially the things that are more visual, and that we can get cleaned up faster. So now I'm going to let Vicki talk.
And I certainly support that, and I know that we have not only myself, but the office staff that would put the processes in place, to manage those visual inspections and contacting those owners and setting forth a plan. Because at the end of the day, I believe our goal is that we want to make Holiday Park as beautiful as it can be, right? Safe and beautiful for everyone. So I will go on to say, as Sean was stating about our where we are with our fine committee as far as the number of our members. We do have 2 current members on the fine committee, and that is Dick Gortz and Norman Olszewski. And so that,
Olszewski.
Thank you. I knew I was going to say it wrong. I apologize, Norm. So they are still confirmed and will retain, their position on the fine committee. I did put out a notification through text alert, our website, and Facebook that we were looking for fine committee volunteers. And that deadline date at the time was September the 19th, just seeing which volunteers we would get for prior to the workshop. So right now I have 1 application that has submitted their interest in being considered for the fine committee, as well as would have interest in the chair position if that is, because it will be needed. So if that is needed, that person is selected. I am going to extend that date out for a couple of more weeks, whatever the Monday, first Monday is in October. So I'm going to extend it out another week or two prior to our regular meeting and just see if we get any more interest. So I hope that if you are concerned about, some of the areas in the park and the homes in the park, and, you would like to volunteer your services to Holiday Park, that you complete an application for the fine committee. Thank you.
You were also going to go through the list of requirements for being on
Oh,
a
yeah,
committee?
thank you. Okay, so some requirements to consider if you do have interest in being on the fine committee is you must be, and this is as of our resolution, a procedure for standing committee members on 2024-05 that was passed and adopted on December the 12th, 2024. Any resident serving as a member of a standing committee must meet the following requirements. You must be a homeowner and/or resident of Holiday Park. You must be up to date on assessments and taxes, must be respectful of fellow residents, district manager, and trustees, must consistently follow all park rules and regulations, since you're going to be enforcing them, and or at least identifying, must consistently observe deed restrictions, must be fair and consistent in applying rule compliance equally to others. Members will serve for a term of 1 year and must be in compliance with the above-mentioned requirements in order to be reappointed by the Board of Trustees. New and reappointed committee members are required annually in March to complete the committee application renewal resignation form. We do have those in the office, and then you turn those into the committee chairperson for review. And then those will be turned into the park office for filing. So those are the basic requirements to be on the fine committee.
And this person that has agreed to be on the fine committee and submitted an application, well, we will be reviewing that at our October meeting, and the board needs to approve that. And if there's any other ones that come in prior to our board meeting, we will look at those also. Okay, any questions from the board on this? Okay, next we have our November 25th workshop. The reason I bring that up is I am not going to be here on the November 20th on that workshop. It's the 25th. I will be heading north for to celebrate Christmas and Thanksgiving with my family. So we have two options. We can move the meeting, or Bob, we can hold the meeting, and Bob will need to, as first vice president, he will be leading it. The issue, Bob, just to be clear, is the other thing is I have a cruise that I'm going on in the middle of November, so I won't be able to even deal with putting an agenda together or anything to deal with that workshop. So you can work directly with Vicki and keep it the way it is, if that's what you prefer, in setting that up, or we can move it to another date.
I'm okay with whatever.
Okay, anyone else? I mean, I'm perfectly fine with leaving it like it is, and we'll just carry on.
Also, in the back of your mind, you gotta
Yes,
think about the one in March.
we will deal with that. I have been thinking about it,
I
and
think
we'll
the
deal
lady
with that.
next to you would lead the meeting real well.
We'll deal with that in the new year. We're gonna hold that off to the new year. All right? Is there anyone else? Let's talk to that. I have someone next to me, a little bird in my ear, saying they probably won't be here on the 25th either. Will we have a quorum? We want to make sure we have a quorum if we're going to hold it on that date. Everyone else will be here? Okay, so if everyone else that's here is going to be here, we'll have a quorum. Very good. Of course, Bob, we'll get together, at least through our district manager. I will make sure she understands everything, where I'm at and what's going on, and then you guys can get together and set it up. Okay, very good. We're going to leave it like it is. The last item here is our caretaker agreement for use of the yard waste dumpsters. I'm going to give you a little background on why this is even before you. As many of you know, in the park, I am a caretaker, and we have other caretakers working in the park. And what a caretaker is someone that is tapped on the shoulder that says, for residents that are going to be gone for a month or all summer, can you make sure my weeds are taken care of and keep the weeds down, trim the bushes, keep the palm trees clean, all that type of stuff, okay, for my resident, or for my home while I'm gone. And what came up, because I am one, I found out that as I started getting more customers, I had an issue with what I'm going to do with all the debris. And I worked out an agreement with Carmella before summer, back in June, of being able to dump the refuse from the bag that I had, and it's just yard waste into the compound, or into the compound area, phase 1 dumpster. And what I found out throughout the summer is I didn't have that many bags, but I had enough that I didn't want to leave them out in front of somebody's home that wasn't here in case there was a storm, because they would get blown around and then you have another issue. So taking that into consideration is why I worked out the agreement to begin with. Now, I don't know if any other resident has talked to the park on doing the same type of thing or not, but I wasn't doing it as a trustee. I was doing it as a resident who had a caretaking job. I want to make that clear. But in doing so, I thought of, wait a second, we have other caretakers and we even have staff that do caretaking work. Maybe we should have something where we can open this up to allow our residents that are caretakers and the staff to use that dumpster, but we should pay something for it, for that use. And so we talked about this, and I have gone back and I have paid for my use of it for this last 4 months. So I'm up to date on my payment, so I have done exactly what I think we should do here. If we change the amount, of course, the staff has figured out that the maintenance staff says this is a good amount that we're charging on this, and also they really found that for the time that I was using it over the summer, they never had to increase the amounts of dumping, having someone come in and dump the refuse that they had. They didn't see any effect to the way to their normal schedule of having that dumpster emptied. So I didn't really impact it any, so I want to make that clear, but I also want to be fair and open this up to all residents that may be caretakers, because I know we have some other ones here. And I know we don't want to leave those bags of stuff just sitting out. I don't want to have multiple bags sitting in my yard possibly every week or every other week, and I don't want to leave them in front of someone else's yard to be blown away. So it's easier just to dump it. And again, when I say dump, we're not throwing the bag into the dumpster. You're dumping out what was in the bag, which is just the leaves and the branches and things like that. All right. With that said, what the office came up with, this is the office and the maintenance staff came up with this. We have an agreement that's made by a caretaker in the Holiday Park, and the parties agree to share the costs and use of the dumpster for yard debris only. It's leaves, branches, grass, and plants. It says where it's located, over on Vista Lane. You have the uses of what date to what date. The caretaker pays, you can pay a one-time monthly fee of $50, or if you're going to do it quarterly, it would be $150. And the park, when it says the park pays the balance, what that means is whatever the cost is for having that dumpster at our within the compound area, they will continue to pay that. This would be an offset based on how many caretakers there are. Yard waste only, no garbage, rocks, construction debris, hazardous material, or household items. Do not overfill the dumpster or exceed the weight limit. Each party must clean up any debris they spill outside the dumpster. Any fines, overage fees, or extra charges caused by a party's misuse will be paid by that party. This agreement ends when the dumpster is removed and all costs are paid, or either party provides a 30-day written notification to terminate the agreement. And you would have the signature of the caretaker and then the Holiday Park district manager. And then the date, you got the lines are off there a little bit, but the date of that signing,
We'll fix
signatures.
those.
Does anyone have any comments or questions about this?
Thanks for explaining it. Reason.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Maybe you just haven't gotten to it yet, but I don't want to make it a third strike. How much does it cost to have that dumpster dumped,
I don't
and
know.
how often?
The average monthly for the roll-off dumpster is $750 to $800. And even at its highest peak, which would be after like a storm cleanup, I've never seen it much more, usually around 900.
Okay, thanks.
And how are we going to keep track? We're gonna have a camera up over there? Because once this gets out, everybody's gonna be, and they may be doing that now. But who's gonna be tracking this?
Well, eventually, we were hoping to have cameras at our compounds.
Yeah, I
That
think we're
hasn't
gonna
been-
need one.
But the issue is electricity, right?
We can put cameras in at both of our compounds, but they will not be on our network systems. So they will basically be, like a solar, because we don't have any power, at the compounds. So we don't have any way to really do a traditional type camera that we have on the rest of our system. But we can do, go to Lowe's or Home Depot and get some solar type, cameras to put in and around the compound areas.
There's not power to the groundkeeper shack? He's got fans over there, so there's power.
But
Shed down there,
There's power.
yeah, but I don't believe that there's actual power there may be at the actual shed there, but I don't know that that's accessible over to the compounds.
Yeah, there's lights in the compound.
I've been told otherwise, but I will check it
Oh,
out.
Or if there's a camera that's good enough that could be mounted outside the building
Right.
to use the power from the building to focus on that lot and that would work too.
I got mixed thoughts about this because I know what it was like after Ian with all the stuff that was put in the dumpsters and they piled it up along the side of the dumpsters and it made a mess. And our guys had to go out and clean it up. I think you're opening a can of worms to what caretakers put the stuff in there because somebody's going to see somebody doing it and then, well, that's okay, I'm going to do it too then. It's going to be hard to enforce.
Well, I can't speak to that. I
understand where you're coming from with all the yards that you do.
I hate making policy based on fear. Why don't we implement it? And if it becomes a problem, then we change it. Because like I said, I just hate saying, well, I mean, the sky could fall tomorrow. I mean, I just hate saying what may happen because I don't think there's that many caretakers. And right now they're not using it, but we would open it up for them and we would get reimbursed for that. And if we have a lot of people that monitor what's going on in this park, let me tell you. And those people, if you have something like this enforced and they understand it, if they see someone else putting something in there that's not a caretaker, the office is going to know about it. So I think we police ourselves pretty good in these respects. What else was I going to say? I forgot. Go ahead, Bob. Did you have something? Oh, so my thought is this is a way to help. Now, remember, the caretakers themselves are trying to keep the place looking nice, right? I mean, they're trying to keep the people's houses that are gone looking nice throughout the summer months. And I think we need more caretakers myself because we have too many houses that don't have them and they need them. But this is a way that, I mean, that helps. I think it's a win-win myself. And like I said, if it becomes a problem, then I think we change it at that point. We say, no, we tried it, it didn't work, and we're not going to allow it anymore.
Well, I basically see that because there isn't anything in place, that if people are misusing and abusing it, it's because they know that there's not anything in place and nobody's really paying attention. So, you know, with this agreement in place, at least it is something to show, I mean, internally, you know, that if we have a report that someone is using the dumpster, we can actually go and see if they are and confirm if they're a caretaker that has completed and put in place the dumpster agreement. And if not, you know, especially if we have cameras that we can, you know, begin to monitor. And then we also have our staff that is out and about in the park that can look in those, you know, kind of monitor those areas as well.
All right. Do we bring this back for further future discussion and possible vote? Okay, we'll bring it back. All right.
Vote you're talking.
To a vote, yes, for a vote.
Yes.
All right. Anything, well, that's all I had for new business. We don't have any supplementals today, so open it up for trustee comments. And just speak up if you're, I don't.
Yeah, I got a few. I'll try to make it quick. I handed out this spreadsheet that Nancy created for me for quicker tracking on our permitting, so I don't have to keep running out back and getting into an address hard file, because we've been using an HOA for 3-ish years, and not everything is in there. So this is just something to help us that we can, right after a ACC meeting, we can enter this information, hand it to the girls in the office, and they can update this spreadsheet. Okay?
Are you wanting us to send this spreadsheet back to you, or just have this printed once it's updated every week, every ACC meeting?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind having it right on hand, so, not that I ever get called on questions.
No, never. Okay.
Okay, now I'm going to open up a can of worms. I'm just looking for a consensus of the board before I proceed with this. And I'll give you my reasons why. And this is on the subject of garages. It's not a deed restriction that I can find. If it is, please make me aware of it. But my reason behind this is, number one, we have them in here already. So if anybody wanted to take us to court, we're more likely going to lose. I'm thinking that most of the homes in here that were destroyed by ripped off carports probably wouldn't have happened if they were allowed a garage. That's an assumption, but more likely it wouldn't have happened. So I guess I'm just looking for a consensus. I won't say the ACC committee has agreed to come up with ideas and lists of kind of requirements, because we don't want to see you building a garage and then you fill it full of stuff. So things like that. So I'm just looking for a consensus on that before we go yay or nay to move forward with it.
So you're talking about a detached building?
No.
No.
No, I mean, if you've got a carport, like most of the new homes in here and the owners that I have talked to, if they had the choice of a carport or a garage, all but one would have went with a garage. And I would assume that some people may want to enclose their carports. So these are all things we would have to come up
So
with.
this is taking the space of the carport, it's just reusing that space differently. Is
Correct.
what you're saying. Instead of having the carport open and having the vehicle parked underneath it, you might reuse that space.
Right. I mean, there'd be a lot of things we'd have to work out, but I'm just looking for from the board, do I proceed with this or not?
Well, I, for one, have to have some time to think about it and go looking through my documents myself and refresh my memory on what's allowed and what's not, personally.
Well, it's not allowed. It's clearly stated in the ACC rules. But like I said, we have them in here. The park itself has 4. And we got one on Polina. We got a carport on Polina that's all they're missing is a garage door. It's fully enclosed. I mean, this is all stuff that's happened in the past that we can't control or fix. But going forward, I mean, number one, it'll raise your value of your property to begin with. for resale. Yeah, well, yeah, more taxes too, but I'm just looking for a yay or nay. Because it's going to be a lot of work. Nobody talk at once.
I just know that as a second-generation holiday park, this has come up the decades that my parents were in the park. And when my dad wanted a garage or an enclosed carport, and for insurance reasons, because of safety, because the main door to get out of the home would lead into another closed area, the fire department said no. That in a manufactured home, you have to have at least 2 clear areas to get out of that home. And where my dad wanted to put it, it would have taken out, they would have only had the front to get out of without an enclosed area. And at that time, they said that no, he could not even, so he dropped the fight of trying to get it through the park. That's, I don't know how valid that still is, but for safety reasons, and maybe the new homes have different access, but the old one, the 74 that I live in, the door, you would have to take out a main door to enclose that would go into a closed area. And they said no.
Yeah, that's something we can research.
Okay, other trustees?
My question, would this garage be for putting a car inside, or storage, or workspace, or just what would it be? The reason I ask is that when we had our home built, we had a shed put on the back, and we had double doors put on the backside with a ramp so we could bring our golf cart inside that shed whenever we leave the property, just to keep it out of the weather and whatnot. So I guess what do you see as a proposed for usage of this garage?
Well, I know I'd be putting my vehicle in it. I just don't get the, someone that dumps 80 grand into a vehicle, leaves it out in the sun, they park their $6,000 golf cart in the carport. I don't get that. I mean, if I'm getting a consensus of no, then that's the end of this story.
Well, you've only heard from a couple people, so
Yeah.
what about everyone else? Don, what do you think? Deb, Rick?
Not that it matters to me, but it'd be nice to know, I mean, what options are. Joni's got a good point, though. I think we need to check that avenue as well.
Yeah, not only that, with the
Well,
with
decision.
the fire
has to-
department, but also with the Northport, city of Northport, because there's rules there too that we have to adhere to, and they're different for manufactured homes as opposed to,
Right.
single-family homes.
The reason I brought this forward is because it keeps getting brought to me. And if it's a consensus is no, then that's the end of it. I'll move on to my next one.
Well, I think you should maybe check those 2 sources first and come back and tell us what you found out there, because they might tell us no, and then it's no.
Okay, like I say, I'm in no hurry.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the older mobile homes, you would be blocking a door. The newer ones, haven't.
So I think we need more information before
I
we can
agree.
even. Go ahead, Nancy.
Nancy Selo, 6893 Mokel Court. On what Joni said about having 2 ways of exiting the home that didn't have another enclosure, what about all the places that their second door is coming out into a lanai that's enclosed?
But like Arlen and I, we have 2 doors going out.
Well,
That's how my
if you enclose your carport, you'd have doors going out too.
Well, that's true.
So just a thought on
Okay.
that.
I have our house. We have a lanai. We call it a Florida room, and I mean, there's a difference between a lanai that has all the window spaces are just screens, right? Because you can break through a screen easy, and it's still, that might be considered different than an enclosure where you have a door that you have to go through. But even in our house, we have 2 other exits. We have a front door, we have a door going into the lanai, and we have a side door going out the back side or whatever. So there's still 2 exits to the home. So, I mean, but there's all these things to consider, I guess, yeah.
Research, yes.
Okay, the next one is, I'd like to change the permits from 1 year to 6 months. People are taking advantage of that. And you can't even get people to put them in the window, which is something so simple. See, right now, they got 90 days to start a project, but then a year to finish it. That's a long time, and they're just ignoring it.
You know, one of the things what I would like, along the same lines, what I'd like to see changed is it depends on what kind of project it is. Okay, because if I'm getting a carport in and I'm constrained with money, having a year might make sense. Okay, maybe 6 months or 9 months is better. I don't know, but we're having people take a year to do things that are minimal work, like having a little shed sitting out, and they have to put it, you know, they bought a little shed and put it in a place they're not supposed to have it, and they need to move it to where it would be compliant. Or just, you know, the little things. A lot goes through the ACC. The smaller things that are not very costly shouldn't have the same amount of time as something that's very costly, to me. So it seems like there should be some type of, the change should include timeframes depending on the
Project.
Yeah, the project itself, the cost of it and the severity of it, of getting it repaired.
Right, I mean, for an example, carport, you can't even show that after 90 days that you've even attempted to get a contract. So you want to continue to let that just go on for a year?
No. Yeah.
So if we switch to 6 months, and if they're struggling with that, then we can just renew the permit. All right, so we'll discuss that more.
I think that has some merit in taking into consideration some of the other things that were stated
Well, I'm
too,
just
because
trying
of
to-
timeframes.
I keep saying it, bringing the park up to the 21st century with all this gray area around our rules, trying to get it closed up. The other one that we really need to seriously consider, especially for the Phase 1 residents, and this is a deed restriction change, is getting our side setback to match the cities. The reason why is the smallest in width manufactured home you can purchase now is 14 feet. Not 12. We go to 12. So these residents that have these super small lots in Phase 1, they've already lost 2 feet. And I know it's a deed restriction change, but we really need to consider going to match the cities when we do a deed restriction.
Okay.
I'm leaving the rest for the next workshop, because we've been here quite a while.
Yes, we have.
Yeah, I think as a resident, the more that we can match the city, the better off we are. Because I have to tell you that when I did my remodeling and stuff, it was very confusing trying to figure out, because the city was like, no, this is fine. And then I'd come back and they'd say, no, you need to have this. And it would be nice the more we could match.
All right, thank you. Okay, anyone else? Okay, we need a motion for adjournment. Oh, resident comments, sorry, I'm jumping. Resident comments, any resident comments? Being none, now I need an adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion, support. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, any opposed? Motion carries.
Second.
Thank you, Tim.
Tim?